Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and before we start the Talking About Tapes, I want to say that this episode is sponsored by Raid Adam Does Movies. I'm on a new episode of his show Movie Feuds, where we talk about End of Days versus Devil's Advocate. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I love the show. It's one of my favorite YouTube shows. And yeah, I think you guys really need to check it out. So after this video, hop on over to Adam's channel and watch that video. Now, on to the review. Oh, Jesus. On to the review.
End of Days. Soundtrack in stores now.
Well, Newt, welcome back.
Yeah, to Hack the Movie video.
Hack the Movies video, talking about tapes.
Talking about tapes.
My nose still hasn't healed from that fight.
Yeah, man, you might want to get that looked at. Or stop getting in so many fights.
Yeah, I keep getting into fights, and my nose keeps getting hurt in the same place. Definitely didn't film a batch of reviews while I had a pimple. That's not it. It's because I got into so many fights.
Fisticuffs.
Anyway, so when we did rental reviews, which is totally different than the show.
Totally different.
We did The Running Man.
Yes.
Which was directed by Starsky or Hutch. I don't know I forget which actor it was.
Okay.
But it was directed by one of the guys who played Starsky or Hutch.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Right? Really awesome movie. We did a movie called Kazam.
Not really as good.
Really awful movie.
Yeah.
Same director.
Okay.
So something similar happened. We just found out. I did a review recently for The Relic.
Good movie.
Great movie. One of my favorite 90s creature features. I did this whole review just talking about how much I loved it. Turns out the director, let's see, followed it up with a horrible movie. End of Days.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you've never seen this until recently, right?
So I started working in a movie theater in 1999.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's when this movie came out. And I remember when it was out, but at this point in time, there was this weird thing going on of like biblical horror movies. They re-released The Exorcist.
Yes.
There was Stigmata. There was Bless the Child.
Lost Souls, I think, was one of them.
But at the same time that was happening, you also had not A. Arnold, you had Z. Arnold movies.
Yeah.
Collateral Damage, The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
No, the Sixth Day, not
Sixth
The Sixth
Day,
Sense.
Sixth Day.
Sixth Sense did come out in 1999.
That's
though.
it. It did.
The Eraser came out.
I think it's just called Eraser, not The
was
Eraser.
it? Oh, well, you know, whatever. Shows how well
You're thinking of The Eraserhead.
That's it. Yes. So there was like this period of time where post Batman and Robin and during all the kid-friendly movies, I just kind of didn't care about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. This was sort of his did the check clear phase.
Yeah. And you're right about biblical horror movies. I think a lot of people with Y2K and the year 2000, there was a lot of like end of the world stuff that was going around. Literally, little did they know.
Yeah, that it gets so
2020 would have been the real one. So that's why we're reviewing this.
Exactly.
Because in 2020, we're actually dealing with the real apocalypse. Yeah, so this was also, it came out after Devil's Advocate, which we're going to do at some point. So 2 movies with the devil in New York.
Yes. This one I had never seen until you said, oh, let's watch this movie. So I had to look on like Amazon and Netflix and find it. Yeah. And it was pretty much exactly what I expected. Yeah. But by doing a little research about it, I found out this was supposed to be a completely different movie.
Yeah, it feels like it was supposed to be one.
Yeah.
So a little bit about this movie you have here. It's the last movie ever released on Laserdisc.
Exactly, which is saying something.
I have the tape, so I watched this on VHS. I actually watched it on VHS. Yeah. The tape begins with a commercial for Pitch Black.
Oh, well, that's a good movie.
Yeah, remember when that was just supposed to be a fun monster movie, and then somehow it turned into
the
Riddick?
Chronicles of Riddick?
Yeah.
I had no idea they made a third one.
Yeah.
I don't remember that coming out.
There's a commercial for Jurassic Park on DVD, which I own, and the big selling point is that there's a special look at Jurassic Park 3.
Ooh.
The best of the Jurassic Park sequels.
Somebody likes that one. He's the Alan.
It also has a coming to theaters trailer for House of a Thousand Corpses, but which is funny, because House of a Thousand Corpses didn't come out till like 2 or 3 years later.
And changed studios. It wasn't even a Universal movie at that point.
When it became Lionsgate.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot how creepy that trailer was, though. That
trailer
was cool,
that's a great trailer, yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, so this movie, it's got a nice credit sequence.
It does, yeah.
With we'll talk about it now because it's going to be there the entire movie. The chanting in
There's
the soundtrack.
There's like this angelic chanting that gets to the point where there's a couple times in this movie where I laughed really hard. When you're not supposed to.
It. Totally. I mean, this soundtrack could probably work.
Yeah.
In this movie, though, not everyone was on the same page for what this movie was supposed to be.
Yeah, because originally it was written for Tom Cruise.
Yes.
But he opted to do Magnolia instead. Smart move.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi was going to be the director, and then he opted out to do that Kevin Costner baseball movie.
Probably a smart move.
Yeah, no, it's, but then they hired another director, and I actually remember when this happened because I remember Howard Stern talking about it.
Yeah, I looked this up, and I kind of feel bad for the director, but explain what happened.
Yeah, so it was Marcus Nispel, and
who did the Texas Chainsaw
remake. He was going to direct it, and James Cameron was the one who pushed Marcus Nispel into that, and then pushed for him to cast Schwarzenegger, and then like a 64-page list of demands leaked on, not even online, really, just to the press, and he got shamed into quitting the movie.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I feel bad for him, because yes, it is kind of douchey when you read it. It happens all the time.
Exactly.
He is... No, I bet you Arnold's was way more embarrassing.
100%. Yeah.
I bet you there's
Especially this era Arnold, where he's just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to do it, but you're going to have to meet all these demands for me to do it. You know?
So I feel bad for Marcus when it came to that. But no, then they got Peter Hyam.
The dude who directed...
Peter Hyams.
Yes. The guy who directed 2010, the year we made contact.
Yes.
But he also directed, it's a terrible movie, but I really like it because it's a hockey movie, is Sudden Death, the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which has some of the most amazing movie mistakes in editing ever in it.
And he also did Time Cop.
Time Cop.
Which I might talk about soon with a friend.
I have the comic somewhere. I'll give that to you.
I think it's over there, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
He does the splits.
So the credit sequence, it feels like it's setting you up for a spooky movie.
Yeah.
We get some great credits like CCH Pounder.
CCH Pounder, who I love. First off, that's a great name. I wish that was my porn name.
It's a great name.
She's so good on... She was Amanda Waller in Justice League Unlimited.
Perfect.
And I love Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
Like, she's got no arm, and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm giving you the finger.
Udo Kier is in the credits, and right away you're like, bad guy.
Yeah. Because he's great in everything.
Yeah.
But, it's just, he adds a little bit of extra oomph.
Stan Winston did the creature effect that you don't see till the end.
Yeah.
He did we'll talk about it when it gets to it. But, yeah, so let's see. So the beginning, there's a comet over the moon, which kind of reminds me of The Omen.
A little bit,
when the comet cuts the sky or something, whatever that poem was. And they realize that a woman is being born who is going to be the devil's concubine or something. She's born. They do like the satanic thing.
Yeah, like he kills like a snake and then does a thing.
And this is the most unrealistic part to me, is that the Catholic Church is talking about, they're like, should we kill her to prevent this? And the Pope is like, no, we have to keep children safe. And I just thought
that didn't age well.
I just thought the church trying to keep children safe was just a little. There's a lot of crazy stuff in that movie. That one was, you could tell I went to Catholic school.
This movie does, it doesn't do good PR for the New York City Police Department or the Catholic Church. Both of them really need a little bit of help these days.
Does it start with Arnold first? No, it starts with the devil.
Yes.
Literally coming out of hell, which is underground.
He comes out of the spot where they were digging in Ghostbusters 2. He looks like a Firebird, but he's cloaked like the Predator.
Yes. It is that devil design.
Yeah.
They just made it invisible, probably because it would look weird.
But it kind of looks like the bird thing from Power Rangers, if it was like,
The bird?
Remember there was like the bird Megazord thing? It was like a bird or like a pterodactyl or...
I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I was too old for Power Rangers. But it reminded me of that. And then there's just like a random like Wall Street guy.
Yeah. They never explain what his deal is.
No, it's just Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah. He gets attacked by the devil. Walks out. Okay. So throughout this review, we're really going to try to figure out what are the limits and extent of the devil's powers.
There's no clear...
Yeah.
direction. And it's not even like in The Exorcist, a good movie.
Yeah.
Where the devil goes, for me to do this, it would be a blatant abuse of my powers.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he doesn't become untied, because he wants to create that existential dread in the priest and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In this, it's just the screenwriter went,
this would be cool.
That would be cool if
so
he did that.
he comes out of the bathroom, and so much cuckolding talk on this channel.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Just makes out with a guy's wife.
Cut the movies.
Is he hypnotizing? Does the devil have powers to hypnotize people?
And
Did
then
they have, like... Was there something where, like, those two were having an affair pre-possession? Because she just lets him do it.
Exactly. And then her husband's just like, he's all,
I love Gabriel Byrne. Gabriel Byrne's too good for this movie.
Gabriel Byrne is too good for this movie, and it's funny that in the same year he played the demon in this, he played a priest in Stigmata, and then, you know, you have Ghost Ship, and you have Hereditary, and all that. Oh my God.
So yeah, he makes out with the girl, and then he blows up the restaurant with his mind.
Yeah.
Not even like, did he go back and set up a gas thing?
No.
You assume he can just blow it. This power can do nothing but help him for the rest of the movie, and he doesn't use it.
And it's that Terminator 2 walking out of the fire scene that they do, and I went, oh, boy.
They do it a couple times.
Yeah.
So then we get to Arnold, and we just did Stargate recently, and it's exactly like Stargate. We get introduced, he's about to kill himself.
Yeah, the very
death of his child.
The very first time you see him, he's got a gun to his head.
Which I think a lot of people were trying to imitate Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson doing that, because I think his wife died in that one. Yeah. He blends Chinese food and pizza together.
Which I thought was great. That's like a weird, but that's something that feels like it would be in an 80s movie. Like, remember when Stallone cuts the pizza with scissors in Cobra?
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but his friend is Kevin Pollak.
Yeah. Who's too good for this movie.
Too good for this movie. So they have to protect Gabriel Byrne's character. So of all the people the devil can possess, why would he do someone who has such a big target on him?
Exactly.
And then he never needs security again.
No.
Arnold and Kevin Pollak work for a private security company. That's very important to remember.
Not cops.
Very hard.
Used to
not
be a cop.
He used to be.
Yeah.
But he is not a cop. So he saves the devil from a hitman.
They land he's not a cop. They land a helicopter in traffic.
Yes.
And then they're fighting. Like, this is the thing about this movie that takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
There's this scene where they're like falling and he's shooting while they're fighting.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would be fun in a different movie.
It doesn't work for this movie.
No.
Also, if you're private security, you're just supposed to keep the guy safe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, in a later scene, they're like, that person's missing now. It's like, well, you really fucked up.
Yeah.
You don't you just keep the guy safe. You're not the cops. You don't have permission to land a helicopter. Like, you probably could get permission.
This was
on such a short note. I don't know if you would be allowed to.
Pre-2001. You could do all kinds of stuff in New York.
So yeah, I thought that was ridiculous that he cared this much about it.
So they chase the dude down in the sewer. Apparently, you can just touch the third rail and it's fine.
Is that still a thing? Or
I
that
thought
like
that
myth?
was like, no, I think like they use that in movies all the time. Like,
I know it's in a movie, but that's one of those things where I'm like, is that like real? I don't know. I didn't look into
If anyone watches Hack the Movies who knows anything about the subway system, please comment below.
Oh, you have here the set design. I actually don't mind the look of this movie.
It's the Aldi version of Seven.
Yes.
You know, it very much wants to be dark and moody and gritty, but it just comes off as like, if I made it, you know?
No, people are wearing too many clothes for you to make this movie.
Exactly.
So the guy speaks with no tongue.
Uh-huh.
So he's magic.
He's magic, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's another person who's going to be magic, I guess, later on.
Yeah.
So that's weird. And then you find out that Arnold was like an alcoholic. The CCH Pounder like, are you drinking? Because that guy can't talk.
Yeah. But that's what I like the interaction with them and then the interaction with Kevin Pollak because he's got this dry sense of one-liners.
He kind of knows what movie he's in or what movie he's supposed to be in.
Yeah, because even like when he's like, I'll wait here when they're in the car, I was like, I like him more.
Yeah.
Arnold is so miscast in this.
He is very
because
miscast.
his accent is very prevalent in this movie where I'm like, if he was like maybe an ex-special forces guy or something, because at the end of this video, I have a whole way you could remake this movie.
Yeah.
And like, you know, powerful.
Yeah.
Pat myself on the back.
So they go to the priest's house. Mm-hmm. There's all the writings on the roll. It's traditional stuff, but I like he puts the picture of Robert Tunney in a jar and then refrigerates it.
Yes.
What the fuck is he doing?
Well,
I get that that's probably a cool visual, but you think about it, like, why is he refrigerating?
Why was the cat in the refrigerator?
Why was the cat in the refrigerator?
No, I could eat. Shit!
What?
All right, I knew that was gonna happen.
NY2K.
NY2K is great.
It's everywhere.
Was that a thing?
I don't know, but it's good. It's good to set
because I heard that and I was like, oh, that's great because we have some Y2K videos
we have Y2K
at Hack the Movies video.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, NY2K, that's great. So we meet Robin Tunney, who was in The Craft and
a lot of movies.
Empire Records and whatnot. She's really bad in this.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Again, I think she's acting for a different... Everyone's acting for a different movie.
Yeah, because originally it was going to be Liv Tyler. And then she had to drop out because of something else.
Wouldn't have been much better, I think.
No, I know, but like because Robin Tunney's been good in stuff. I mean, she does a topless scene, which is great. I'm a big fan of nudity.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's in this, and she's the baby who's grown up.
Yes.
And she lives with her stepmother, who's the lady from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And like a guy, and
she's on the subway, and she runs into the scariest albino blonde guy.
Yeah, who's just like staring at her, and she gives him money, and he's like, he's gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
He's gonna fuck you, Christine. And then he like collapses into glass.
Yeah.
And
I thought that effect was cool.
that was especially the head was cool.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and it's all a dream. Now, first off, he looks like a character from an Apex Twins video. But second off, I spent a lot of time in New York in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And that's not the weirdest thing I had ever seen.
It's not the weirdest
One
thing.
time, this is great. One time I was with an ex-girlfriend and we're taking the subway, and a dude in just the lower half of a Mickey Mouse costume, but he was still wearing a Yankees t-shirt and the gloves, was taking a dump in an orange like Home Depot bucket. And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
it's a city of romance.
We have cliche wife and daughter are dead.
Yeah, which feels very out of place.
Yeah, he goes through his stuff because he remembers the Bible quote.
Yeah.
He finds like the music box.
Yeah, he opens the music box and it gives him the whole
So
thing.
Udo Kier, he went from being fake medical doctor to fake psychiatrist
And pharmacist.
and pharmacist.
Because she's like, oh, I'm having visions again. And he's like, it's Zanny o'clock. and then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, are you qualified to do that?
Yeah.
Which then gives us the I'm your stepmother line. And then
she's the nurse from earlier in the movie, right?
But it's the whole, like, the exposition drops are just really, really, like, I just want to be normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'll all be revealed one day. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so this is weird. I have it written down here. The cultist raised her. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you brainwash her?
Yeah, exactly.
If this whole point was for, why wouldn't you be like, oh, this is a great thing that's going to happen?
Yeah.
You might have a little trouble.
And she's been dreaming about, she even says in the movie, she's been dreaming about Gabriel Byrne all this time.
Yeah. Why is she even in New York?
Yeah.
Brainwash her in the middle of the woods somewhere.
Exactly, and then bring her to New York for the New Year's
like
Eve.
They let her have like this whole life, and it's like you realize like this is what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, how
exactly.
Do you not prepare better for this? What's good? We got Rob Steiger.
Oh yeah, he's another one that he's acting his ass off in this movie.
He's really trying. Like he thought this was his omen. And
yeah. So he's acting his ass off, and he tells Arnold, like, Arnold's like, I don't have beliefs and stuff like that, and he's like, well, you should. And then he goes away, and Arnold just like walks through a private door down under the church, sees the stigmata, and he's like, okay, bye. Like if I saw that, I'd be like, whoa.
Also, Rob Steiger owes no explanation. He's not a cop.
Yeah.
He's a private security
Who's
guy.
trespassing.
Who's trespassing. He's not. He has no. Like, at the end of the movie, skipping ahead a little bit, Arnold runs into his boss, and his boss is surprised to see him.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's been out doing cop shit when he's not a cop. It makes me so mad.
So Gabriel Byrne now shows up to Udo Kier's house.
Oh, my God.
And Udo Kier has a wife and, like, a daughter is college age. Yeah. And the daughter's talking about, like, school, and he's like, oh, is this your daughter? And then it cuts to...
Yeah.
Gabriel Byrne is having sex with the wife while the daughter's laying next to her, like, diddling herself. Yeah. And then they start to, like, merge together.
And we can't show any of this, so I hope our description is good.
So, again, cucking.
Yes.
But here's my main problem with that movie, or with that scene, okay? The devil is having missionary sex. All right? If it's say, because movies like, Devil's Advocate, whatever, the devil, he's got a human body and he's here to cut loose.
Yeah.
He's gonna have missionary sex? Lights off missionary sex is the whitest thing you could possibly do?
It was the easiest way to do that.
Oh my God, that bothered me.
So, the devil is often depicted as a goat, like a goat-like creature. In this movie, I think he should have been depicted as a bull because he's constantly cucking people. Because a bull, you get it, right? Like prepping the bull. Oh, yeah, so the devil goes to meet the priest, and this cop's like, you're not going here. And the devil's like, you're a pedophile. And he's like, oh my God.
So he lets him in.
Yeah.
And,
and then he's like, remember who you served. The cop, like, again, was he hypnotized? Because the cop's being like, even if he was, it's like, do you have evidence? Who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
So they go in. I love the priest is behind plastic, and the devil opens up the plastic, just blows cigarettes.
Smoke, yeah. But then, because and then they're like, oh, this is the priest. We're gonna go talk to him. Yeah. It's been 13 hours, 12 hours.
Yeah.
No one who works in that hospital went to go check that he's crucified to the ceiling.
I said it has worse security than the
Exorcist 3
hospital. But here's the thing, my favorite is pedophile cop is like, no, maybe he did it to himself. Yeah. And Arnold's like, Arnold thinks about it way too much. Like, well, how do you get the third scalpel in? Arnold should have just slapped him and been like, are you an idiot? Also, Arnold shouldn't be there. He's not a goddamn cop. He's not. He should be ejected from this crime. Yeah. He is tampering the crime
scene. Could we get rid of the big Austrian guy who does nothing to do with
Kevin CCH Pounder, spoiler, she turns out to be a Satanist or a Satan worshiper. I know there's a very big difference.
Because the left...
I mean, I already shit on Catholics, but that's because I was a Catholic. I'm allowed to. I don't want to offend Satanists who don't actually worship the devil.
Yeah.
Anyway, at any point, she could be like, you're not allowed to be here. I'm escorting you out. Yeah. You're banned from... Like, she just keeps letting it happen.
But then, like, the guy, they carved all this stuff into his chest, and he's like, oh, it's all in Latin. And this one says, the devil in New York. But no,
it's Christ in
New York. And it was like, Christina York.
Yeah.
But then the guy wakes up and the pedophile cop shoots him.
Yeah.
So that he can't talk. And I was just...
But he already can't
talk. Exactly. So...
Oh my God.
This movie is just an escalating series of things that have to happen.
Yeah. So then we have, there's like a Last Crusade element where there's these priests that are trying to kill her to prevent the courtship, even though it was said, like, we can't use evil to stop this. We have to rely on faith, or I guess it's not going to work. I don't know.
Yeah.
So they're trying to kill Christine. You said she throws her freaking like
she throws like an antique furniture out the window in this like really wealthy brownstone area.
Yeah.
No one does anything about it. So Arnold and Kevin Pollak are like, oh, it turns out that there's a girl with that name. Let's go see what's going on. And they happen to be there as all this thing was happening because she was getting ready to get in the shower and she gets attacked by these guys and they're going to do the last rites and kill her so the devil can't come. And then that's where Arnold gets involved with her storyline.
Yes, and then the stepmom doesn't want her to leave the building.
Yeah.
And the devil's like, where is she? And Udo Kier's like, she won't bring her. And Udo Kier
just punches Udo Kier through the head.
By the way, great effect, great cut.
I didn't see it coming. That was one that really worked for me.
It's like, I mean, I watched it on VHS, so maybe it just seems seamless. I don't know what it looks like in HD, but it's a really good
again,
effect.
like in Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, where he had the punch through the thing, and then he's having like a casual conversation while cleaning blood off of his hands.
I couldn't convince her to come here. Then I shall have to go to her.
We skipped the skateboarder.
Oh, yeah. So this random dude's skateboarding, and he's got a shirt on that says Satan rules, and the devil's like, cool shirt. And he's like, whatever.
Whatever, dude.
And he skateboards into traffic, and the devil's like, says something under his breath.
He's like, hey, kid.
And the kid sees it, and he gets hit by a truck or a van. But in a better movie, he would have exploded. It would have been RoboCop style. Yeah. And that's where the consistency in this movie doesn't go. Like, it should start to have more fun with its premise.
Yeah.
You know?
So the mom's got the girl locked up.
Yeah.
Arnold is on the case that he's not supposed to be on. Nope. I do like that apple vision where she sees the apple and there's all the skeletons.
It looks sort of like almost like Paradise Lost almost on the inside.
Yeah, it
and
looks
she's
really
like,
cool.
"Oh, I have visions." He goes, "I saw it too."
Yeah, he's like, oh, I have joint hallucination. So the devil.
Yeah.
He sees the cops and he sees Kevin Pollak in the car outside. He pees gasoline and blows them both
and throws a cigarette and then blows up Kevin Pollak.
And then somehow Nurse Lady decides, I have to fight Arnold.
Yeah.
And this is another case of, is she magic? She beats the shit out of
So
Arnold.
one of the ants from James and the Giant Peach
Yes.
beats the shit out of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then like she pins him behind like the piano.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just like, all right, it's funny to watch Arnold get beaten up by an elderly British woman.
Yeah.
But still, like, nothing makes sense. Like, did the devil, like, give her powers in that moment? How come if Udo Kier was part of it, his head wasn't stronger?
And then she gets thrown through the glass, and then the devil shows up, and instead of chasing the woman he needs, he decides to kill the girl who failed him. It's like, go up the stairs. What are you doing?
Yeah, and then because then the devil walks in through the fire again because they couldn't get enough of that shot.
Yeah.
And
the pedo cop shows up with CCH Pounder.
Yeah. You
They
think
try
she
to like
knows that
take
he's
on
a
Arnold.
pedo?
Huh?
You think she knows that he's a pedo? And
Probably.
like part of this thing?
Probably.
Despite the fact that the Church of Satan, one of their things is like, don't ever fuck with kids.
Yeah.
You know?
He kills Arnold kills both of them.
Yeah.
And then the devil can just bring you back to life.
Yeah, like people, they don't become zombies. They just become... Basically, from this point on, everybody he turns is just a shadowy person who sounds like a didgeridoo holding a flashlight. And that's the whole... That's like every time they show up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you I need, and he brings her back to life. So stupid.
She talks about how she's seen him before in her sex dreams. She didn't know who he was. So now he's here to take her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to Rob Steiger.
Yeah.
And he goes, "End of days," and she goes, "End of days," and I went, "That's the title of the movie." Like,
yes. And then he has the famous line.
The number of the beast is not 666. Often in dreams, numbers appear upside down and backward. So 666 becomes 999, like in 1999, the year of his return.
What does that have to do with me?
I love that someone had to say that out loud in the movie.
I think it was in the trailer.
Yeah, because anybody in the movie goes, well, wait a minute, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, there's a 1 before it. Oh my God, this movie's so stupid.
That's when I said, was the writer of this movie's name Armstrong? Because that's a stretch.
It is funny when Arnold, though, says, like, is that Eastern Standard Time?
They
Because
never explain that in movies when they talk about, like, midnight. Like, well, what time zone?
Well, yeah, with, like, the Gremlins, they're like, what if you do it, like...
Yeah, well, Gremlins was making fun of it. Like, this one, like, the priest probably should have been like, oh, that's a good point.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
was
we
the
didn't think
prophecy
about
written?
that. Because then even then he talks about, like, God's plan for it, and God is just a dick, and he's like, you guys will figure it out, you're fine.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
The devil's at least being proactive,
Yeah.
and he's like, I have goals,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work for my goals, and God's like, meh.
Yeah, so Arnold goes back. He leaves her because he can't see, the devil can't see into the church. Mm-hmm. So he leaves her with the priest. He goes home. He meets the devil.
Yeah. And the devil tells him, like, you know, I could take all this back.
Yeah, he does the Star Trek 5 where he shows his pain.
Yeah, and he walks through, like, the liquid. And
yeah. And then he does his whole rant about God, and it's almost like the Pacino one, but not as good. Mm-hmm. Pacino's, at least he's overreacting, and it's kind of funny. We'll talk about Devil's Advocate at some point, but in this version, it's like, I can tell what you're trying to do, and it's not working.
Well, he's like, God just has a better publicist.
Yeah. And then Arnold just throws him out a window.
Well, no, that's before he goes to the devil.
You want to fuck with me? You think you know bad, huh? You're a fucking choir boy compared to me. A choir boy.
So he throws the devil out a window, which is pretty funny. And then Kevin Pollak's back.
Kevin Pollak's back, but that's after the angelic chanting returns again. And I'm just like, oh my God. So Kevin Pollak's back, and he's like, Arnold's like, oh, I think he's a demon or whatever. So he shoots him, and he's like, oh, you shot me. He's like, oh, don't be a pussy. Okay, you thought your friend blew up.
Yeah.
Then you shot him. Then you called him a pussy. Like, what if he's not a demon? How about you're just a bad friend who, first off, should be fired for not doing his job? Like,
yeah. And also, here's the thing. Why isn't the devil just blowing up Arnold?
Exactly.
I guess at this point, it's because he doesn't know where she is. Mm-hmm. But when he showed up to that house, Just blow them up.
Yeah, that's it.
You can blow things up with your mind. You can piss fire.
And I get that there's a ticking clock element because it has to be before midnight and all that kind of stuff.
I know, but the devil could be doing so much.
Yeah, you could be turning other people into stuff and then having them go out and get information for you. And
just blow up his head, whisper, and have him get hit by a truck. It's just,
dogma it, you know?
There's so much he can do. Like, and that's why I'm like, I don't understand his powers.
Yeah.
Like, he has too many powers when it doesn't benefit him, and then not enough when it would benefit him.
So he throws him out. He throws Arnold out a window, and he's.
Or no, Arnold throws him.
Because Arnold's hanging on the windowsill,
right.
And like the devil's like stepping on him, so like the glass goes into his hand, and he's like, "Take my hand, I can make this go away." And Arnold grabs him, throws him onto this poor dude's Jeep Wrangler down below, and it explodes, and Arnold gets back up. So my whole thing was, I'm thinking about the Geico person who has to take that call when they come out of their house and realize that. Oh, the devil smashed my Jeep Wrangler, and like, I don't think that's covered.
What is that?
Oh, that was my phone.
God damn you!
Bad at this.
No, I'm leaving that in. I want everyone to know.
That's fine. Everyone can know how unprofessional I am.
The knights or whatever are there to kill Robin Tunney, and Arnold shows up just in time and shoots the deck.
But I believe that this movie is like a really dark sequel to Spotlight.
Which one was Spotlight?
Spotlight was the one about the church with all the molestation, and the Chicago newspaper like uncovered all of it. It was like Mark Ruffalo and
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I believe that this movie is like a really dark version of that. But the scene where he shows his wife and stuff is on Christmas. Yeah. This is like the dark sequel to Jingle All the Way.
It's the Turbo Man in the background. Devil shows up. He now has Robin Tunney.
Yeah.
No reason to keep Arnold alive.
No.
None at all.
He makes everything shake like they're on a Star Trek set.
Yes. But no reason to keep Arnold alive at all. Blow up the church.
Yeah, that's it.
Blow up blow him up, kill him, punch a hole in his head. No, he gets Kevin Pollak to take Robin Tunney.
Kevin Pollak's character has been an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm like, oh, he's back. Yeah. Oh, he's bad. So she gets in the car and drives away, and then you realize, oh my God, he's bad. And Arnold's trying to like catch the car and jump on it and stuff. And then he gets attacked by all of the like minions now that the devil has.
That he has, yeah.
But the scene is shot like Michael J. Fox directing a Paul Greengrass action scene, because it's so like shaky and dark, and it's edited to within an inch of its life, and it was bad.
Yeah, and then they crucify him.
They crucify him.
Just kill. You have no reason to keep him alive anymore.
But then they introduced that Mark Margolis is the Pope.
Well, they introduced it earlier.
Okay, I didn't realize it was him. I was like, oh, I think that's. Oh, it is Mark Margolis.
Yeah, but now he's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair, so it's a prequel to Breaking Bad. But like that dude's career, like he's in Daredevil.
He's great.
He's in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Yeah. I'm like, good for him.
He was in a couple episodes of Gotham, I think.
That's right, yeah.
So was Tully from Addams Family.
That's right.
He's great. Yeah. He's great. All right, so Arnold, we mentioned this earlier. He goes back to work.
Yeah.
His boss should be like, hey, where the fuck have you been the last few days?
He's bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
He's probably still drunk.
Yes.
And he just walks into a room and just fills up himself with guns and bullets. And
his boss isn't like, is this for an assignment?
Yeah, like, how about I'm going to lose my license as a private investigator and my insurance is going to go up.
Yeah. And then he looks up the license plate. He finds out where they are. They're like at that, where are they at? Movie theater?
They went to like an abandoned movie theater.
Yeah.
But they're underground. Yeah, I think old abandoned movie theaters should be used more. But they go underground, and Arnold shows up for that. Yeah. And like just out of nowhere, this random old man, like a homeless guy with his eyes sewn shut, is like, "You have a good soul. You shall pass."
Well, no, he says there's a lot of hate and vengeance in your heart.
Oh, that's right.
You can pass. And it's like, wait, who was that guy?
Yeah, does he have anything to do with anything?
What if he said no? What would Arnold have done?
Shoot him in the face.
Probably murdered him.
Exactly. Yeah. But then it goes to the whole idea of, okay, you're underground, you're in these tunnels. This is they've been waiting 1,000 years. The devil's been captured for 1,000 years. So you've had plenty of prep time now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you cover every door, window, nook and cranny?
Yes.
He's just able to sneak in.
Wouldn't you have a better location for this? Like,
instead it's just this, it looks like a Sting music video from the 80s. It's just all these candles and stuff like that. And so Robin Tunney is out cold and he's going to have sex with her. And there's like 10 minutes from midnight, which that's fine. I could do it 3 or 4 times if that's my timeline, but that's not the case, you know? So He comes in, and what it reminded me of is, have you ever seen the New York Ripper?
No.
There was like off-Broadway sex shows in the 70s and the 80s where people would just go and just watch two people have sex.
I knew about those.
Yeah, because it was also like Sweetback's Badass Song, which is like one of the first blaxploitation movies. Yeah. But I just imagine in my head, like, what if the devil wasn't the devil and he's just some like failed drama kid, and his whole thing is to just put on one of those shows?
I do love that the devil puts a robe on.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's got to make it sexy. You know, I imagine the guy who's like, you know, there's the pedophile cop who protects him, and there's the police chief. Yeah. And then there's the guy whose only job it is to light all those candles. I'm helping!
So Arnold shows up with a machine gun. Machine gun's the devil. And then Kevin Pollak is like, let her go. Mm-hmm. But then Kevin Pollak, he goes back to the good side.
Yeah.
Which sets him on fire again. Because I guess he made a deal.
Because he made a deal with the devil when he caught on fire. The devil could take it all away. And then
I just love when the devil goes,
I thought we had a deal, Bobby.
So it leads to the really uninspiring ending.
Yeah, well, I like this part of the movie. I actually kind of like because it's an unstoppable killer chasing Arnold.
Yes.
So it's like a reverse of Terminator, and even like the devil, it's kind of cool. Like his rib cage is showing.
Yeah, and his head is like all screwed up and stuff like that. Because now I'm just thinking about like, Wall Street guys are shitty. Yeah. But just imagine this poor dude's family when they like his body. Because when he finally leaves the body in the thing, it's fucked. Like you can't give an open casket for this guy.
There's some good miniature stuff. You wrote the matte lines are kind of
because that scene where they jump out of the thing and then they have to duck for the train. Yeah. That if that was edited differently, that would have been really cool.
The 90s matte lines were kind of hit or miss. Yeah. They weren't as bad as the 80s.
No,
they
were
very,
not at all.
very noticeable. Now you could, I don't think there was digital color correcting yet, so now you can match the colors a little bit better. Back then it was kind of
they get on the subway and they get the guy to stop the subway, and then they're going through and he's like, don't stop, hit him. And then like they hit the devil and it explodes and they're like, oh, okay, we're safe now.
Well, no, it doesn't explode. He comes in.
Oh, he rips through the thing.
He punches through the guy's chest.
Because all I thought was fatality. He punches through this poor dude.
The explosion is when they separate the train cars and the devil jumps. Like, couldn't he just magic the whatever?
No.
So he shoots him with the rocket launcher and blows
But I
him
also
up.
think that while these subway trains are exploding...
Wait a minute. He's been surviving fire and regenerating this whole time. Yeah. Why did the rocket launcher hurt him?
Because they have 15 minutes left in the movie. And the screenwriter and the director of The Relic had to do... We wouldn't have had this problem if Jean-Claude Van Damme was fighting the Pittsburgh Penguins mascot.
You're right.
You know? So
I just thought about that. He's regenerating. Fire explosions don't hurt him, and then they do.
Is he getting weaker because it's closer to midnight?
It's a line of dialogue would have been nice.
Exactly. See, we could have fixed this movie.
So Predator Devil shows up.
Devil shows up.
Yeah.
And he looks like the slugs from Men in Black mixed with the Night on Bald Mountain Devil, kind of.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the design of it. And I saw...
There was a practical version.
I don't think the practical version was ever meant to be in the movie.
Okay.
I think it was meant as like a reference.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. Mm-hmm. And the design is fine. I guess the CG just wasn't on par with where it should have been
so they
to pull it off.
They leave the subway. They go to the church. And Arnold has time to, like, find his faith again and ask God to help him.
To be fair, if you've seen definitive proof that the devil is alive, it's kind of like George Clooney and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't believe in this, but they're
vampires,
like, there has to be an opposite side, right?
Yeah. So they're in the thing, and he's asking God for help, and then there's, like, an angel statue with a real sword.
Yeah, I'm sure there's things that exist, but that's kind of weird to just have.
Especially in a city like New York where like everyone's a junkie and like, I'm gonna go get a sword and rob a bodega, you know?
So it goes into Arnold and it's classic, like, you can fight this, you're stronger.
So it was like the ending of The Exorcist where he like... Because the devil goes into him, and you think it's over, and like
it's kind of like Terminator 3.
Yeah, almost. And then he grabs Robin Tunney's character, and he's gonna rape her.
Yeah,
because he like rips her clothes and stuff like that. And then because he's a good man, he fights it, which leads to the scene that I laughed so goddamn hard. the statue with the sword is sticking up in the air.
Yeah.
And Arnold runs and he jumps on it and it impales him, which kills the devil.
Because I guess it's midnight now, so fire shoots out.
Yeah.
And you see the devil face, and then it falls into a crater because hell is underground.
Exactly.
It's the most childlike version of hell. Hell
Well,
underground.
I guess it's because it's like, look, people are stupid. Just
Yeah.
give them the things that they know.
Yeah. Then he sees his wife and kid.
He sees his wife and kid,
stupid.
like at the end of Gladiator, but if it was bad, you know? And then, like, she takes his hand, she's like, oh.
Yeah, and then that's it.
That's it. And it's just like,
You have a written down here that it's kind of a loose end, her being alive, but I think it's every, like, 1,000 years.
I know, but don't even think about the 1,000 years part.
Yeah.
Think about the Pope now goes, I know she exists. She saw all this.
Yeah.
She's gonna out that my knights of the whatever are out there. She's gonna write a book about it, and now the church is gonna have problems. And look, we're expecting some other problems in a couple years, so maybe we take care of this. So I imagine it ties into Breaking Bad, and Tuco shows up and kills Robin Tunney, like.
But yeah, you guys have no idea how crazy it was when the Catholic Church. I was in Catholic school, and like every week a teacher would be like, "I know the media's saying stuff, but this was a few isolated instances. The media just likes to spread lies." And then we went home, turned the TV on. They're like, 50 more people accused. They're like, all right, well.
I've been an atheist since the 3rd grade because of something like that happened to somebody in my family.
Anyway.
I don't want to talk about it, but that's that. And then the fact that I didn't realize what Schwarzenegger's character's name was until the last 5 minutes.
Jericho!
Where they just keep saying it over and over
Jericho!
and over again. And it's almost like Pazuzu, like it's a word that maybe works on the page, but not when it's said from a mouth. Like,
this movie would have been better with Chris Jericho.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But so I had an idea on how you could make this movie better.
Yes.
Okay.
Please tell me.
What if Schwarzenegger, like say it's either the Iraq War or Vietnam or something.
Okay.
Schwarzenegger is a guy who was a righteous man who loses his faith over time, but in Vietnam he saved a guy who wound up being a priest. And they know this stuff is going to happen, and he's lost his faith, but the priest says, I need you to protect this woman. And Schwarzenegger doesn't believe in God or the devil.
Yeah.
And you could go like, he's more funny and doesn't take it seriously in a world around it that's more serious. And then you can play both tones on it instead of what they did, because I think if he was entrusted this girl and he has to keep her safe and all this kind of, it would be better than what they did with this.
Yeah, so it's trying to be three things. It's trying to be a drama like The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
And then it's trying to be a horror movie.
Mm-hmm. And it's also trying to be the Terminator.
It's trying to be this schlocky action flick, and it doesn't work. All three of those things don't work.
No.
The actors aren't clear which version of that movie they're in.
Exactly. Everybody's doing their own thing.
It's tone deaf. It's very bad. I love it. It's very bad.
It's murky looking. It just looks like every movie that came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies where like I would never watch this on my own.
Yeah.
Because it's just a movie I was like, I don't need to see. I've never seen Hocus Pocus. Still.
Yeah, you were telling me that,
but it's
not
just like
missing much if
no,
you ask me.
so it's just one of those things where I was like, but I'm glad I watched it because I was like, oh, there's a lot of fun that can come out of talking about this movie.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting
but it just doesn't. This is so
it's a
much
great New Year's film.
Oh yeah, of course. This is
not
so much better.
Watch The Relic. Watch my review of The Relic and then watch The Relic. It's so good. Real quick, I'm gonna check. Do we have Collateral Damage? I think we do. Yes, we do. We have Collateral Damage.
So Collateral Damage was supposed to come out the weekend of 9/11.
Oh,
and they had to. I was a manager and a projectionist, and I had to go. When it happened, I was up in Vancouver, Canada, going to college, and they're like, "Hey, like we have to remove anything that people would find offensive." So I had to go and cut things out of movies. We had to take down the Spider-Man poster.
Right.
So that was like so anytime I think of Collateral Damage, I think of that movie.
Well, that's depressing.
Very much so. So
but we should do Collateral Damage because I remember the ending was hilarious. Anyway.
Yes.
So that was End of Days.
End of Days.
I think the next one we're going to do is Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate I actually like. That's a
Devil's Advocate,
fun.
that's another way. It's got some flaws, but it's that movie at least knows what it's trying to do.
Everybody knows exactly what movie they're in.
Yeah,
Plus,
even though it's not the best movie, and it has some issues like this with the devil not being clear on his powers, but it's way better than this.
Yeah, I think put Al Pacino in this movie, and maybe you have something, you know?
But also, if you get this, you get some special features.
Uh-oh.
You get a special effects featurette on the creation of the train sequence, which is actually cool. The miniatures.
That scene looked okay and felt okay.
Like, it reminds me of miniatures. I'm trying to think of like other ones, like Die Hard 3 with the subway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know Batman Begins used miniatures for their subway stuff, and this is, I thought.
Tony, I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to save you.
We'll talk about that another time. But I mean, just effects-wise, it looks pretty good. But you also get 2 music videos by Everlast and Rob Zombie.
Together?
No, 2 separate ones. I don't remember who Everlast is.
Everlast did that song with the "Give Me Your Heart, Make It Real" or "You'll Forget."
No, that's
no, but it was the same album. He did that. All you sinners, turn the lights on. Or
no, the one with Santana. Then Rob.
That was Everlast.
No, that was the guy from Matchbox 20.
No, but it was the Matchbox 20 did that song, but it was on the same album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Everlast was like the he did that. You might know what it's like to have the blues. They're like a girl gets like an abortion or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can relive the late 90s stuff. Nothing. Imagine being like, who bought this? It was like, I really just want to see that Rob Zombie video.
I think I have the poster for this movie somewhere. This was like, I had the Blair Witch 2 poster as well.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. Rob Zombie at that time was peak Rob Zombie, though. Like,
here's another. We're going to leave on this. More chilling than The Exorcist. Do you agree with that?
No.
Okay. More haunting than The Sixth Sense. Do you agree with that?
No.
It will scare the hell out of you. Were you scared?
That you would make me watch it again. Yes.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Wireless Magazine? You're an idiot. Anyway, that was it for Talk About Tapes. Not it in general. We're going to keep doing this.
Yeah, we're going to keep doing more.
I'm canceling the show.
Yeah, that's it.
We had a good run.
Cancel culture.
Next
time, if we want to do a biblical one, we should do Time Travel Through the Bible with
exactly.
Jonathan Frakes.
By the way, there was a wrestling faction recently called Cancel Culture, and then one of the wrestlers got canceled, so the faction had to get broken up. Not storyline-wise, they got canceled in real life.
Okay, well, we go back to 90s music. Isn't it ironic?
All right, like, share, subscribe, and all that. Goodbye.